Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie Bree. This is going to be a fairly short video. I don't even know what I'm going to say, but I want to talk about a dancer that I grew up watching. His name is Mr. Wiggles. You can look him up on YouTube if you want more information. He's out there. Probably Wikipedia, maybe. But I want to talk about, I've talked about in the past my breakdancing experiences, and I want to talk about Mr. Wiggles because he was a big inspiration for my, expression in this regard. When I was first starting to learn how to breakdance, I lived in a small, isolated mountain town in the desert of northern Nevada. Needless to say, we did not have easy access to materials to learn how to breakdance, nor did we have easy access to other breakdancers. There was a small community of breakdancers, breakers, or b-boys, b-girls in our community, but it was very small, and we were all basically like entry-level beginners learning it around the same time. This was before the internet took off. It existed, but you couldn't really do internet video. There was no YouTube or anything like that. And so you couldn't just go to YouTube and type in, how do you do the windmill, step-by-step instructions, like you can today. So what we would do is we would go to shops in the mall. This was back when the mall was the place to be. There was a store called Mr. Rags. I don't know if this was a national chain or a local shop, but it was sort of a b-boy or breaking hip-hop culture store. It was like hip-hop culture. They sold hip-hop related clothing, videotapes, music videos of popular rappers. You could get like the videotape of the Up in Smoke concert tour that Dr. Dre and friends did. You could get movies like Friday, Next Friday, things like that on videotape. You could get like cassettes and CDs. You could get like, articles of clothing that hip-hoppers, it's not the correct word, but hip-hop enthusiasts would wear. The wristbands and the armband, elbow pads, and, beanies of various sports teams and things like that. Well, they also sold a line of videos specifically targeting breakdancers in the area who had an interest in learning breakdancing. They had two video lines that they sold. One was a series of videos called Battle of the Year. Battle of the Year is this annual worldwide international breakdancing competition where the best breakdancers from all over the world come together to compete for the championship. So we would buy the most recent Battle of the Year videotape. It was like Battle of the Year 98 or 99, something like that. And we would just watch the different segments, the different, performances or competitions or whatever. And this was back in the VCR days, so we would watch a segment and study it, rewind it, and then go frame by frame as close as you could go frame by frame with a VCR. And then try to decipher their movements so that we could mimic what we were watching and deconstruct it and then, figure out what they were doing so that we could practice and learn how to perform those moves ourselves. The second product line, and I don't remember the name, but they were basically Mr. Wiggles videos. Now, Mr. Wiggles is not an acrobatic or athletic breakdancer in the traditional sense. He doesn't get on the ground and do the what we say, the down rock. He doesn't do a lot of the up rock, just Google the terms up rock, top rock, down rock. You'll understand what I'm trying to say. He is a pop and locker. He is a professional pop and locker. One of, if not probably the most famous pop and locker that there is, or he was at the time. I don't know if he's even still alive. I imagine he's retired by now because he would be an old man at this point. But he's the guy that taught Usher how to dance. Like the actual Usher, the break, the famous R&B artist. Mr. Wiggles is the guy that taught him how to dance. So he's legit. And he had a series of semi-instructional demonstration videos. Now, they weren't necessarily step-by-step how to pop and lock videos. That's not what they were. Nobody sold step-by-step instructional breakdancing videos in our market. And none of us had access to... Amazon was brand new. I mean, we're talking 1998, 1999. Amazon existed, but it wasn't in our cultural lexicon yet. We had no concept of it. Plus, we were kids. We didn't have credit cards, so we couldn't buy on Amazon anyways, and PayPal didn't exist yet. So, online shopping didn't exist. This was still a very new field. And so, the Mr. Wiggles videos were, like I said, semi-instructional demonstration videos. What they would do is he would have a segment where they would interview him. Who are you? And he'd be like, I'm Mr. Wiggles. And then he would perform. Do the little arm stuff and the worms and the robot and that kind of stuff. Do some pop locking, miming, and then he would have, like, in the studio, he would have, like, students, and he would be giving a demonstration class, and they would show a little piece of that, and then they would show a clip from a performance, a public, maybe concert or something where he in his group, either a competition, we call them battles, or something, and then you would see the whole performance, and then it would go back to the studio, and they would kind of break it down and just do like a piece of it, and you would just sort of have to learn the moves this way. Now, I could do some top rock, some up rock, some down rock, and some body rock. I was an actual athletic breakdancer. I'm pretty fat these days, but I was pretty fit back in high school. Not like, I wasn't like, Olympic athlete fit, but I was, I had tremendous upper body strength. I could, and I'm not fucking exaggerating, not only could I spin on my head, which was my power move. Every breakdancer has to have a power move. That was my power move because I could do that. But I could also do a move where I would get in a pose where I would be on my hands like this and resting on my body, my legs curled up over my back, and then I could lift up over my head, lift up my arms over my head, spread my legs, drop into a pose, kick my legs into a head spin. That was my signature finisher. I would kill myself, like break my neck, die if I tried to do that today. And that's not the most impressive finisher you can do, because that's still B-Boy 101, B-Girl 101, that's breaking 101. But that was my signature power move. And I busted my ass for 9 straight months, me and my homie, in our backyard on a makeshift dance floor. We built out of scrap wood that we could just scavenge from around town to get to be able to do that move. But I was not, I learned a little down rock, the 6-step, and some, the crab walk and some stuff like that. And I could do a backspin, get 5 or 6 rotations out of a backspin. I would usually go into a backspin from a sequence, or do a backspin and then kick out into a sequence. It wasn't usually like just curl up in a ball and spin on the floor. That's not very impressive even when you're a teenager. But I was primarily the robot dancer, that's what they called me. I was the pop locker. So, in addition to studying the Battle of the Year tapes and the Mr. Wiggles tapes, we had access. the internet was a thing, but there was no video streaming to speak of. But we did have access to Compton's interactive and Encarta's interactive digital CD-ROM encyclopedias at school. And they had video clips of mimes. And so, because I knew that hip-hop dancing, pop locking, had its origins in miming. You could argue that pop locking is essentially miming to music. And in a way, it kind of is. But there's a lot more to it than that. You got your moonwalks, you got your glides, you got your slides, you got the worm, you got your waves, and then you got your pop locking and miming, but then you've also got your robot dancing and stuff like that. I was really good at the robot dancing, and I was pretty good at the miming. A typical break-in battle lasts the duration of a song, and you, more often than not, try to pick a song that's at least 7.5 to 8.5 minutes in length. We had a few standard songs that our group liked to battle to, and obviously when we challenged other break-in crews, they had their songs. And if we ever met on neutral territory, we would all tell the DJ our preference. Our opposing crew would tell the DJ their preference, and then he would pick either a common song that we both agreed on, or something comparable that had a flair comparable to what we both told the DJ. Now, I also was a DJ. We had a whole hip hop group. We made rap music. I was on the mic rapping. I had the turntables. I had the fancy DJ equipment and voice cancelers and all that cool stuff. I was very invested in this. We did rap albums, we did concerts, we did competitions. So when I say I was involved heavily in hip hop culture, I mean I was knee deep in it, not neck deep in it. Honestly, I was living it, and I was the only white kid in our group. Everybody else were either black or Latino, mostly Mexican, but we had one who was from, I think, Venezuela, if I'm not, somewhere in South America. I want to say Venezuela, but I apologize if I'm getting that wrong. This was a long-ass fucking time ago. But anyways, for me, it was all studying Mr. Wiggles. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass and tell you that I was as good as him, because if I was, I'd be a rich motherfucker right now, and I ain't, obviously. I never had any desire to be a professional dancer. This wasn't something I wanted to do, like, go up. Yeah, I did invest heavily. Me and my friends pooled our resources, and we did open a record studio, and we bought professional equipment, and we set up a recording booth, and we tried to go that route. We were in over our heads, sunk way more money into it than we ever got back out of it, and all basically cut our losses and walked away after producing a few albums that went nowhere. Again, this was before MySpace even, so there was no digital outlet for music. At least to make money off of. iTunes maybe existed, but there was no chance in hell we were going to get on iTunes. We weren't that fucking famous. There was no Spotify or anything like that yet. There may have been GarageBand out there in the periphery, but if it did exist at the time, we didn't know about it. So, this is even before YouTube. Like I said, this is fucking like 2001, 2002, and then we shut everything down in 2007. Just as MySpace and YouTube were taken off. Now, I cannot do the moonwalk or the glides anymore because I have a broken foot. I have a crack in the outer left toe on my left foot, which means it is impossible for me to do glides because it requires you to lift your foot like this. You have to lift your foot up off your heel onto your toes, rotate like this, push down on your heel, lift your toes up, and then just walk like this, simultaneously both feet, while bending your knees in a waving motion. So it looks like you're gliding. It's an optical illusion, but it looks like you're floating across the dance floor. I used to be able to do that. I cannot anymore. I have a bad knee from breakdancing, and I have neuropathy in my calves. So it would be incredibly painful for me to get out there and try to do some pop locking or worm or robot dancing today. Unfortunately. And plus, I'm 42 years old. I'm past my prime. You know, most dancers retire before they hit 40 anyways. So I am absolutely at the point where I'm no longer capable of doing just about any of it. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I have depression. Because I used to be, you know, a breakdancer. I used to be, you know, I used to get cheers for my dance moves that I can't do anymore. And that does bum me out quite a bit, because a lot of people take a look at me and they scoff. Oh, you were never a breakdancer. And I'm like, fuck you. I've got videos to prove it that I'm not uploading to YouTube because they were dead name. But I don't care if you believe me or not. It's none of your fucking business. It's none of my fucking business. But I know what I know, and that's all that matters. Now, if you get an opportunity to look up Mr. Wiggles' videos or demonstrations or anything on the YouTube or read about him, I highly recommend it, because he is the real fucking deal. And I know he taught his kids because he had his kids in his videos, so they're probably continuing his legacy, I would assume. That's usually how it goes in show business when you're a showbiz family, which I would say he absolutely is. Stay cool.